Welcome back, boys
And
girls.
Yeah, we're trying to do weekly uploads, so we got met up here on an interesting time crunch. We're gonna ask our good friend ChatGPT to help us out with today's question. So I said, give me a random deep conversation topic that would last 15 to 20 minutes if given a good debate. It said, how about exploring the concept of free will versus determinism? Do we truly have control over our actions, or is everything predetermined by prior causes and external factors, like biology or environment? This question touches on philosophy, psychology, and even quantum physics. What do you think? Are the authors of our own fate? Are we the authors of our own fate, or are we just following a script? Brad?
Well, before we get into that, I just wanted to say thank you guys for coming in. What is this, episode 8? I think.
Yeah, I think it's episode 8.
We're back from Gatlinburg. We're in a nice little gazebo type thing today.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's a very deep question. I was not expecting that.
I wasn't either, but I mean, I think ChatGPT gives you some answers.
I might have to look at that because that was, dude, that's a hard question. I mean, that's just holy.
I mean, it gave you a whole rundown.
Do you have any like first thoughts?
For first takeaway, from a religious standpoint, I would say you have free will, but there's definitely a plan that you want to follow. Does that make sense? Like,
Yes.
There's a path you will go down, but you have free will to make those choices.
Yeah. I think like a lot of the things are kind of predetermined based on where you were raised, how you were raised.
Interesting.
But yeah, there definitely is.
What is that? What is that? And why is it in my
He's
pocket?
finding things in his new baggy jeans in his pockets.
You guys like
Get
my new baggy
little
hold on.
rock? Do you guys like
That's not a
Aiden's
rock,
fit?
though. What is that?
Comment down below.
Oh, it's a packing peanut. Okay.
Bro. Comment down below. Brad or Aiden's fit? You like the California boy in style,
California
or
boy
do you
drip?
like the chill dude who doesn't care what he looks like, sweatpants and hoodie every day, baby?
Hey, and whatever they're into, man. I don't know. The girls and boys watching.
Freak.
I would say free will. Like you said, though, you definitely. We're both probably. I'm assuming that you're Christian.
No.
That's awkward.
Yes, definitely.
I would say, looking at it from a religious standpoint, you definitely are given free will.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
But there's
100%.
a path.
Yeah.
So like, the overall goal, like I don't know, like there's definitely a goal, but like if you choose one side, then you're definitely gonna go down a darker path.
100%. Yeah.
Chosen side.
I think, like I said, I think some of it does depend on how and where you were raised. But yeah, ultimately, you do have free will. I think God gave us free will for a reason. And
True
yeah,
that.
what you choose will bring you down a certain path. But
have you seen? Sorry, go ahead. I'll tell you in a minute.
what you choose can kind of predetermine some of it. So
Yeah.
it's a little bit of both.
Yeah.
You know?
So I was watching this thing, and it was like one of those like YouTube shorts. So there's like conspiracy guys, and they're talking about this thing about how one of these painters made this artwork of like I think it was like Picasso or something on the ceiling, where like the two people are like trying to touch fingers, but like they're not touching.
Oh yeah, I think I know what
So-
you're talking about.
And the God, his finger is all the way extended, but the one that represents man isn't. It's like this, and it's like curled up. And they think the reason he did that is because God's always there for you, but you have to be willing to search for him.
Yes,
so that's why
100
man's finger isn't
100%,
extended.
Yeah, I think that's actually a really good like picture of just how Christianity stuff works if you
Yeah.
believe in that. I think we believe that God is always there for you. It's just if you decide that you want to follow him and you want to do what he wants for you.
100%.
And yeah, I think he gave us free will to follow him or not. And if you follow him, it's not easy.
Yeah.
It's hard. But it leads you down a path that has its own fate, and it's the same thing the other way too. So that's what I'm saying. Like, you have free will about that. And then whatever you decide to do with that ultimately determines where you'll go.
True. It's kind of crazy.
It's a deep question.
It was a deep question. That's insane. Free will or determinate. What would be the other argument? If you had an argument the other side, what would be the other thing if you weren't looking at it?
I don't know. Like, I don't know. Like, that.
I mean, I know we're both religious, so you can't really argue. But if you take the religion out of it and you had to say there's a determinism, how would you argue that there's not free will?
I don't know. I mean, I definitely think, like, being in America, we have more freedoms than other countries have. So for us, it's harder to look at it from the other point of view.
Yeah.
But I think, like, if you don't look at it from a religious point of view, it's kind of like I keep going back to, like, well, first off, like where you were born. So if you're in a different country, and then like
Yeah.
how you were raised, if certain standards in society, like what they are, you might feel like you don't really have a choice, and
That's
you have
true.
to, you know, have a certain job, marry a certain person, stuff like that.
Yeah.
So, and I mean, I guess it's kind of the same thing with religion too, because I mean, if you're a true follower, I mean, there's standards that you want to have and
Yeah.
ways you have to live. But you know, again, it ultimately comes down to, I mean, you have the choice of what you want to do,
Oh,
at least in
100%.
the religion perspective. But
Yeah, 100%.
yeah, I don't. I think in America, definitely free will. We definitely have free will.
We for sure do. I would say some people, the point of free will though, some people would say, I'm just trying to create an argument for the other side, is money. Because like, for example, you cannot have free will if you don't have money. Because
Yeah.
like, people will sleep on the streets because they don't have money, and it's so sad. But like, if people that have so much money could literally do and get away with whatever you want.
Oh
Like,
yeah, 100%.
I tell my parents this, or it was like a joke when I was in like middle school, is like, speeding is legal for a price, because like you could legitimately speed and $250 could mean nothing to you.
Yeah, like to Elon Musk or
Yeah.
like that's 250. That's like a cent.
And then there's someone that
Totally.
can't even afford a car. Like,
Yeah.
I feel like free will, like, yes, there is
Money
free
does
will,
play
but
a
money
factor.
is
Yeah, that-
really restricting.
That is a good point.
And looking at it from a religious argument is like Muslims and things like free will. What if I wanted to show my hair? They can't show their hair. They have to wrap a hijab and like everything.
That's what I'm saying, is there is like factors as to where you were born and how you were born. If you're born to that kind of religion, or you're born in a country where you don't
Yeah.
have the freedom like we have, then yeah, I mean you don't have as much free will. So it depends on those things. I would say for us we have free will.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean,
Did you know in Muslim that women are looked at lower than goats?
how did you figure that out?
Oh, we were talking about it last night or Friday night. At
No,
dinner.
I did not. I definitely did not know
Which
that.
is insane. Imagine thinking your wife is lower than one of your animals.
I mean, goats are pretty goated, but they're not like.
Yeah, but like that's insane. That's
Yeah, no,
so
that's-
insane.
Dude, that's what?
That's
What? Where did you hear that from?
I was talking to my dad about it, and we were talking about different religions and how like I guess they have to pray to the east, and when they pray, they have to make sure they're praying to the east. They have to pray at certain times. They have
Wow.
a certain prayer rug, a certain routine. They have to. Like I don't know if it's Ramadan. I think it's the same religion. I'm not
I
positive.
don't know.
I think during Ramadan they can't eat while the sun's up, so they can only eat when the sun's down. And that's like
That's
during
weird.
like it's during like 30 to 40 days.
I mean, I knew like other religions were strict, like stricter than how
Yeah.
we have it, but some of that stuff is crazy.
so like in Dubai, when you're like in that rich tower or whatever, like the really rich people
Yeah.
live at the top because the sun goes down, or at the bottom. I don't know. There's
Yeah.
one point where the really rich people are compared to where it's really cheap,
Mhm.
because during Ramadan it's like being on a floor difference is like an hour or like 30 minutes between.
Are you serious?
It's that big. Yeah.
Wow,
So like
that's
even, like the
crazy.
really rich people eat 30 minutes before the people that aren't rich,
Huh.
which is
Wow.
insane.
Yeah, I don't think I'd want to live that kind of life.
I don't think I would either, but that's free will.
But yeah,
You have
but,
the choice to
if
do
you're
that.
born into that, then it's like,
Yeah.
like I mean, that like I've heard stories of families where it's like you're born into such a strict religion that it's like you don't feel like you have free will. But then sometimes kids that are born into that feel like they hate how strict it is, that they go out and do rebellious things because they want free will so bad. They want to be able to
Yeah.
explore other parts
That's
of
fair.
life.
That's fair. I don't know. I feel like you definitely have to believe in what you're doing. And there's a lot of things to say about that. Another argument I could make, taking religious out of this and looking at it from a technology standpoint, what if it's all a simulation? What if like we're just ones and zeros that that people put together, that
would
we're just
suck.
so advanced, like
That
we have
would
no
suck.
clue. Like when you die,
don't-
like the lights just go out.
I don't like that talk though. I hate all that. Like
Like,
that's
insane.
just dumb. That I don't believe in
That's
that
insane.
at all.
I want to see that. There's an argument somewhere online of two AIs. One of them's an atheist and one of them's like a believer in Christ, and they argue. Apparently, it's insane. I haven't
Really?
seen it. I don't know what it's called.
that actually does sound interesting.
But I guess I don't know who wins at the end of the day. I just know they're insane.
I don't know if you can really determine a winner because in those type of
I
things.
feel like it's so hard. Like I explained this. You've seen my statement on this, but like gravity's just right. Like it's
Yeah.
so hard to think that somebody or something did not place it
Mhm.
here. Because like if gravity was what is it 0 point something 0.000001% stronger, everything would crumble,
Yeah.
and 1% weaker, it'd fall. It all drift away. Like that's
Mhm.
insane to think about. It's that accurate. For just us to exist is
Yeah,
insane.
and like, I like what is an argument for that? Like that it just happened,
The
and then
Big
like,
Bang, I
I mean,
guess.
yeah, but like I just don't see how you can really believe in that. Like I don't know. And
Yeah.
I guess they could say like, well, there's so many planets. I mean, the universe is like, infinitely big.
Well,
So it's like, well, there's
sort of. Have you heard this theory?
Oh no.
They think the universe is a lot smaller than what it actually is.
Like, what do you mean by that?
So, some scientists we can't comprehend it, I guess is what I was been told.
No, the universe is you can't comprehend all of it.
And so the way I've been explained is instead of looking at it from we're infinitely growing, it's like looking in a mirror. They call it I think it's like the 3D donut, like the spherical donut or something like that. And so imagine like Fruit Loop would be the best way I could describe it. And it's like when we look out into space, we're just seeing reflections of other things coming back at us.
That's just so weird. But like, how do they know that? Like, you can't.
So they think because they see some similar anomalies. So like if I looked out and I saw like, you know how we start to have constellations and the constellation moves and whatnot. You could see that, and I see a constellation here, but then I look over here and I also see it again. Like, that's a bit interesting. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, I look at it from a different angle, and it's a bit interesting. Also, did you know we're moving through space in like 4 different ways?
No.
We're moving around the sun.
Yeah.
The sun's moving around the the
Milky Way galaxy.
Milky Way galaxy, and the Milky Way galaxy is moving around another galactic galaxy.
I think space is so interesting, but that when you start talking like that, it's just too much.
It's insane.
It is insane.
And for someone to think for someone to just sit in a room and come up with an idea that, our universe is either growing, dying, or it's in a giant donut loop. Like, who comes up with that? That's insane.
But the thing that's like hard for me to understand about the universe is whether you say it's infinitely big or it's in a donut or whatever.
Yeah.
Like our human minds, like you have to think, well, there has to be something on the other side.
Yeah.
Right. So that's where I get to the point where it's like I don't understand it.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna trust God that
whatever.
Because I think if you get too deep into that, it just.
Oh, I've gotten some deep. There were some nights where I'd stay up and just be like, "What's the meaning of life?" Because
but
what's your purpose? Like, why am I here? Where am I going? What am I doing? And then it's just like, just make the best of it because you don't know.
Yeah. No, like the late night, like midnight, 1 a.m., 2 a.m., like motivation and like random like thoughts you have. It's crazy. Then you wake up the next day, and it's right back to normal.
Yeah.
And I wish like that like motivation and all those like thoughts you could like keep with you throughout the day because like I think it's just so easy in the day to get caught up with all the things that happen and get stressed out and stuff. Because I think once it hits night, like you're all alone, it's dark, the world, nothing's going on, everyone's asleep, and so you can just kind of relax and focus, and that's where like the true you really is.
Yeah.
But I think people get so overwhelmed with stuff that happens on during the day that they lose focus, or I don't really know what it is, but
the why factor. You gotta be a tryhard.
You gotta be a tryhard.
Just
That's the meaning of life. Just be a tryhard.
Yeah. Dang, that's insane. I'm just starting to think about all that now. I don't know.
Think of all these different conversations we've had just from a little ChatGPT thing.
Yeah,
this might be
insane.
like a new series, like ChatGPT.
Honestly, are we going to season 2? Because this is season 1. Season 2
you think?
Season 1. I mean, I feel like we should make the new season. Should be it's like vlogs instead of like season 2 is like starting vlog. Like season 1 was podcast. That's what I think we should do.
I don't know if you guys probably didn't hear that, but that's a good idea. That's what, and I was thinking about that too. Is like what determines when season 1 is over?
Exactly.
Certain amount of episodes, or what you just said.
Yeah. Well, we also have like hour-long episodes, so that's kind of insane. But I also was thinking like do that because then like if we do blow up, then they're gonna look back on it and they'll be like, oh, let's watch season 1 because that has all these podcasts, or let's watch season 2.
That's kind of a fire idea. I'm rocking with this. I'm rocking with this.
That's what I was just. It just came to me. I wasn't even thinking about that boldly. I was just randomly thinking about it.
Comment down below what you guys' predictions are for season 2. I think we still have a few more season 1 episodes.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think once we feel it's time, we'll switch. I do feel like we're starting to enter a new phase. It's almost senior year.
Senior year, that would be. I think what you should do is season 2 should be summer and like all of that idea, and then that carries over into season 3, and that's just about senior year.
It's not a bad idea. We'll figure it out.
Senior year.
Yeah.
And then maybe we can do season 4. And like I can podcast in from the academy, or if I come back here.
That's some insane commitment.
That would be insane. Oh, okay. I could definitely do it.
Yeah. We'll make it happen.
I would go to bed at like 7:15, 8:30 at night. So I'm in my dorm for like 3 hours a night.
Dang. Well,
that's insane.
I don't know. I feel like we're always talking about the future, which is a good thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, just stay tuned.
I think it includes rap because our first guest
Yeah.
has arrived. So.
Oh, really? I didn't know if that was them or not. So, yeah. Comment down below if you guys like this new kind of shorter podcast and an idea from ChatGPT rather than us just coming up here and
winging it.
Yeah. I think I like that because it actually gave us a direction and something
Yeah.
to talk about, which led us into further things
Yeah.
that were still kind of related, but
Yeah.
were different in the same way.
Every support is appreciated. I don't put as much work in as Brad does, but you should really like, comment,
there's
and share.
really not that much work. I just upload the
It's more
video.
than what I do, and I think you guys should really appreciate it
Yeah.
because these wouldn't be possible without him. I don't do a whole lot, so.
No, it's equal.
It's equal.
But last thing before we go. Once again, comment down below if you notice anything different about this episode. If something was added, if something was missing, if something just didn't feel right, something felt off. Let us know. See if you're a real fan or not. I know Braden.
Missing.
You think Braden watches this? You think
Braden
Braden's here?
watches it, Braden's good. It was originally for Braden, and then he just. I don't even know what Braden did.
I don't know where
Also,
Braden's
comment
at.
whose outfit's better.
Comment whose outfit is better.
Don't have to favor anybody, but just saying.
I don't know, Jim. I don't know.
All
right,
Jim.
we'll see you guys. Episode 9 coming up soon.
care.
Next week, 2 weeks, whatever.